Welcome to Blake Street Banter, where one of us knows what the word banter means. The other two are just along for the ride. Tyler, say what up, big dog.
What's going on?
We are joined by Brendan Hardy. What's up, man?
What's up, people? How we doing?
Doing well.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, it looks like you are struggling a little bit with with those palms in the background, those lights. Like
it's treacherous out here, dog.
Like I'm over here. I'm finally getting my first 70-degree weather up in Michigan, and then tomorrow is gonna be rainy, cold, cloudy, and then this is gonna be like the next week or two of my life. And here you are, just palm trees behind you. It's like I'm kind of jealous, Tyler. I'm sick of talking to these guys during spring training, man.
This is the best background setup we got. Like Dugan's was pretty similar. This is like aesthetics are out of this world right here.
Come on now. I told you, man. All about the vibes. It's all about the tone you set. That's
right.
How it's gonna go.
And you were setting that tone very nicely. So how's spring training going so far? You got a new squad, new team, a whole new state, new environment, new field, new spring training. All of it's brand new. You're telling us off air that Pops is leaving tomorrow. So how are we feeling right now going into 2024?
I mean, obviously you have the jitters of spring training. Like everybody wants to perform well, and then you have everybody in camp. So I mean, I've always seen spring training as like one of the best parts of the season. I mean, getting back in gear, that kind of kicks your butt a little bit, but hey, like once you're there, you're good and rolling. But I will say day 2 today had me tired. It had me tired. But we're going to bounce back and be ready for tomorrow. But as far as everything being new, I mean, I just enjoy just how nice the facility is, honestly. I mean, like, not to take a shot at my homies back at the Mets, but no, I mean, it's just more up to date, just everything like that. Backfields are immaculate too, like complex is state of the art. And then and then the food is, oh my God, it's off the chart. It's really good. So I will have I won't have any problems being in the cafeteria. For sure. But yeah, no, I mean, just everybody's been super welcoming. The hospitality has been great. Like everybody here has been great. I actually caught up with Brad Combs because I haven't seen him since middle school. Like we grew up playing against each other. And first day I walk in and I was like, "What's up, Brad?" And he kind of looks at me like, "You look familiar." And I was just like, "Mississippi, Harrison Central," and he was like, "Oh crap, dog! I ain't seen you forever." So yeah, no. And it was funny because the last time he saw me, I was still playing shortstop. So he was like, "Where's your bats, dog?" And I was like, "I'm a PO." I was like, I gave the bat up 6 years ago. But
that's insane.
But it's been really great, just settling in, getting to meet everybody, and I mean, like, I've been making friends pretty quickly, so. Can't complain. I'm just excited to see what 2024 has for us. And I mean, as far as just joining a new organization, you just want to go out there, throw strikes, get outs, and just God handles the rest.
Yeah, go handle your business and whatnot. Yeah, that's a crazy wraparound, a whole full circle with your middle school friend or acquaintance or whatever, and that's insane. Yeah, especially Mississippi State, because you grew up in Gulfport, Mississippi, so another full circle thing. I lived in Biloxi for like a year when I was 4th grade, so you probably weren't even a thought yet. Like it was 1992, 93. I was in Biloxi for a year. I lived across the bridge. I remember taking the bridge. Okay. Cross the bridge going in, and we had some off school days, and we hit up the beach, and that was my first experience with jellyfish, and like I refused to go back to the Gulf because of it. Man.
You see, you caught it at the wrong time, man. That's whenever the water was actually still blue. But after the oil spill, people just like we'll actually like train out there sometimes, and then you have some people tanning and playing beach volleyball, but we kind of stay out the water now.
Staying out the water in Gulfport. That's crazy. So what was high school baseball like in Gulfport? So you went to what you mentioned earlier, Harrison Central High School.
Yep. Harrison Central.
I saw like kind of did some background research. Like you weren't like really the perfect game. You weren't doing the whole perfect game stuff. You kind of went a more traditional route, so to speak. So, like, what was ball like in Southern Mississippi?
Oh, super competitive. Super competitive. Okay. Like, every school had multiple guys. Like, if they had multiple seniors, they probably had multiple signees going on to play at the next level, whether it was JUCO or D1. Like, dude, and it's just every game. And then what's funny is Garrett Crochet was actually in our district. And yeah, no, we faced him back in high school. He wasn't throwing 100 yet, but I'm glad we faced him when we did, because I don't know what I would have done if I would have seen all that cheese at the plate at that time. One of the teammates.
But I mean, hey, he was probably still like 92 from the left side as a senior or something like that.
Yeah, he was up to it. But the craziest part about it was he had another kid over there, Cooper Brown. I'm just giving out shout outs like crazy. But short, stocky middle infielder was like every bit of just 90 to 92, just like lighting us up. So you had those two guys over there. And then up north, you had a whole bunch of guys. I'm not even going to begin to name them all, but one that y'all might be familiar with for sure is Joe Gray and JT Ginn and like Logan Tanner. Yeah. And then like out toward Brad's neck of the woods, we had like Justin Steele actually went to George County. Very yeah.
Years around.
So, there you go. And then to speak on older terms, like Billy Hamilton lives about an hour and a half north of me. So it's just like, dude, baseball is there. So high school baseball was very competitive. And then as far as like the travel ball circuit, I played in a decent amount of perfect game tournaments, but I was just always a late bloomer. And once it came to my senior year, that summer going into it, I finally hit 90 for the first time. And like from there, had a couple more looks as far as the college route, had one pro team reach out. And then once my senior spring came around, that's whenever the velo caught up a little bit more. And I was opening eyes, but it was a little late. And I was already signed to a JUCO. I didn't know what 4-year I wanted to go to. So it was more so like the traditional route, how you said. And next thing you know, by the end of my senior year, the Mets were telling me, hey, we're going to draft you. And I was like, okay. Like, because at first I was just thinking, all right, JUCO, get D1. And then if we could get pro after that, go for it. But for everything to just basically fall into line like that, I mean, it was just a blessing. And honestly, like, it helped make that decision for me, because everybody growing up, everybody would tell you, like, I was going to be a pitcher regardless. I was just holding on to shortstop dreams. Couldn't really hit for power, but we get our fair share of knocks, though. We wouldn't do that. But yeah, no, went into that, and it was a crazy day. Draft day was nerve-wracking as it is for everybody else.
Yeah. So did you know? I mean, you said that the Mets had kind of given you a holler, but did you know, kind of going into that, you were going to go pro, or at least have a chance to, or was it still, come draft day, things were kind of up in the air?
Come draft day, things were kind of up in the air. It was basically just as far as like monetary agreements, you know how all just discussing contracts and everything goes. But it was just as far as, okay, what is the security in pro ball? Like, if you get hurt in pro ball, cool. Like they're gonna have the best staff come back, rehab you, everything like that, and not try to rush you back on the field because they have to deal with they've dealt with it for so long, as opposed to like guys who go to college and then they have this one injury and then it just snowballs and everything like that, because it's like, as players, we're always going to try to rush to get back on the field. Like, that's just us. But you have to save us from ourselves sometimes. So that was a big part of it too. So once everything lined up, we just said, why not? Let's go ahead. Let's do it. And plus, I've been getting my degree online for the past couple of years anyway. So
okay,
it's like we're still gonna get the schooling in. The Hardys don't play about education. They do not.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. I mean, so I want to talk about draft day, but your dad kind of went through something similar, right? I understand he was drafted by the Tigers, a late round pick in '79, which is insane. Just like dropping that down there.
I was about to say you didn't have to disclose the info.
Yeah, my bad, Papa Hardy. That's on me. But like you had that experience, right? Like he's walking you through it. Like, all right, you can go the JUCO, you can go this route, you can go do whatever. How much conversations did you have with that? How much kind of influence did he help you with that? I guess from his own experience.
I mean, as far as anything, it wasn't like he pushed me to do anything. Like he basically just let the decision be mine. But the biggest thing was that he was like, if you're going to go pro this early, you have to know, like, mentally that's the toughest part of it. So him being drafted by the Tigers back in the day and just being through the minor league system before, he's been able to like basically mentor me on the mental side of everything because he was an outfielder. So he gave me the arm. He never gave me the bat. I mean, I still get on to him about it. But yeah, no, it was just he's always just made sure to prepare me mentally more than anything. Because like whenever you get to a certain level, I mean, well, shoot, whenever you sign pro, everybody has the talent, everybody has the potential to become a big leaguer, but it's what's between the ears that really separates you.
Yeah, and like we've heard that a little bit. We've talked a little bit like Benny Montgomery, Zach V, and like some of these big dogs straight out of high school and transitioning to a professional role as an 18-year-old is insane. Like again, I think about myself as an 18-year-old. It's not going to go well, no matter what I'm doing. Like we were talking to Blake Goldsberry, who was roommates with Zach V, and he's like, they're in Fresno together, right, Tyler? And then he's like, yeah, Zach V, he's like asking me how to do laundry and stuff. Like he was pretty clean and tardy, or like good and tidy, but like there's just you're learning life along with being a professional baseball with some of these expectations that kind of go on with that. Like how much of that was kind of a mental struggle for you as a young 18-year-old, 19-year-old getting your feet wet?
It was basically like you figure out, like, you don't have those 4 years that a lot of people have at college where it's like, oh, okay, I figured myself out. I figure out this is what I do, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, you got to figure out pretty quickly. And then as far as just managing everyday life, it's the fact that it almost feels like you got deployed before all the rest of your classmates did. So it's like, okay, I'm kind of winging it. Like there is no guide to this. But whenever you get around the right people, and then you have guys in the clubhouse who will like lead you the right way, and you just have those big brother figures that really kind of help you develop into just who you are as a person, as a young man, and then also on the field. It just all ties in together.
Yeah, who are some people, back from those Mets days, just some guys there you might want to give a shout to that kind of might have been those veteran guys kind of in the rookie league, or even just kind of young guys like yourself that kind of imparted some of that like maturing advice to you?
For sure. First and foremost, I would have to say my boy Tony DeBrell. He was with the Mets, ended up getting released in the middle of last year. But like, dude, that was a guy who I could always just bounce any question off of, or be like, hey, like, how are we supposed to do this? Like, is this going to be a bad look? Is this going to be good? Whatever. And he basically coached me throughout everything. I will say, as far as more guys, R.I.P. my boy. Well, no, I say R.I.P. No, he's not dead. He's not dead. He just retired. But we say just R.I.P. That was our thing over there. I will say we would just be like, oh dang, R.I.P. man. But R.I.P. my boy Cam Plank. Like he was another high school guy in earlier years, and he just could never get his shoulder right and everything like that. So he ended up retiring from the game. But he was more so like on the chill side of things. So like I knew how to navigate just like coming into the field, relaxing, everything like that, like just staying focused on your craft, because like just seeing how he went about his work too, every day was just things to take notes on for sure. And then as far as like on the big league side, we had Rajay Davis with us in 2019, and he basically just like mentored a lot of us and everything like that. Just chilled out on the minor league side sometimes, and he would just be feeding us wisdom about just coming up through the minor leagues and everything, and just basically keeping your head down. Just do what you have to do as you're told, and like soon enough you'll be getting paid a pretty penny. So
yeah,
So,
Rajay Davis seems like that kind of guy too. Like he seems like
He
a
is.
legit dude. Like just watching him doing his thing. Like there was a way he
Yeah.
carried himself around, and
for sure.
he was always one of my favorites.
Yeah, and I mean it's funny because it's like you see these guys on camera, but then whenever you actually see because like I'm like, oh crap, we like Rajay Davis.
Right?
And then he walks up to you and he's like all goofy and everything. He's like, "What's up, man?" And then you're like, "Oh crap, like you are a person." But yeah, no, it's just super cool whenever it's like you have guys who are willing to come back and like just be free to give out that knowledge and everything like that. But I will also have to say my boy Matt Cleveland.
Okay.
He also dealt with some shoulder injuries, but I will say, like, dude, for somebody who had a hurt shoulder, he put up the most zeros I've ever seen. He was like one of those guys where he's like, "Oh, it hurts," and then go out there and give you two shutty with 4 punchies, and you're like, "How bad does it hurt?"
Is this a thing you're just doing to make us feel bad and like having our expectations down, or what?
Exactly. It's
awesome.
like, dude, you don't have to try to relate to us, man. Go be great. But it's funny though. It's ironic because his favorite number was 22, and that's my spring training number. So as soon as I got to my locker, I sent it to him, and he was like, "Oh." He was like, "It's a good sign."
Right? Yes, it's about to go down.
Channel a little bit more of that toughness now on the hill. Where you're like, you know,
Exactly.
I don't have my best today, but like he never had his best. So what excuse do I have?
For real.
Or you're just gonna be in constant pain. Either one.
Well, knock on wood, right?
Right.
Yeah, I didn't want to put it out there.
Exactly, dude. I've dealt with shoulder injuries the past 2 years. I'm cool on them now. I'm like, let's get a good one.
Got all those injuries out of the way. Hopefully,
Facts. Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
we'll get that in a little bit. But go back real quick. Draft day. So draft day, you're sitting around. I don't even know what round. So you're around 30. So what is that like?
31st.
31st. Is that day
31st.
2, 3? Are you just watching
Day
the
3.
TV all those first 2 days? Where the Mets like hollering at you like, hey, this was where it's happening? Like, how nerve-wracking is that? You said it was a crazy day, so kind of go back to that with us.
It's funny because I'm getting flustered just thinking about it all over again. So basically they told me, they're like, "Hey, you might get a call late day 2, but definitely be next to your phone on day 3." So okay, day 3 rolls around, and I remember my area scout calling me at 7 in the morning. And he's like, "Hey, we're in the draft room. Like, we're in the room. We're about to go ahead and start lining up these picks." And then that's whenever the money questions start coming in and everything like that. And we're like, as long as school is paid for and you hit this certain amount, like, we're good. And then they had some organizational moves because, back then, that's whenever you had like 7 levels before the big leagues. And you had, so they had released a couple of older guys within those like rookie and short season teams. So they're like, "Yo, we need college guys." So then they're like, "All right, we'll make sure that exactly, right?" So, but I skipped the part. So like, as soon as the draft is about to start, they call again, and I'm like, "Oh crap! All right, so this is it." And they're like, "Nah, hold off. We just released like blah blah blah. We got to get some older guys back in here. So we needed college picks." And I was like, "All right, cool." And all day it was basically like, "Hey, if the money's there, you're good." And I'm like, "Yes." That's literally it. I'm like, that's literally it. I should have said, maybe. We should have.
Right. Let's push it a little bit. Like, what's that line? Like, but
exactly. It should have been a better negotiator. But hey, we're here now. But yeah. So we go ahead, go through that. Time is ticking. We get to the 20th round. I'm starting to get nervous. I'm like, okay, all right, this is gonna happen. Boom. they ended up drafting some of my actual some of my lifelong friends who were also high school guys in the early 20s. And then after that, it's starting to get like once it got to about the 27th round, that's whenever I put my phone away. Like I was just like, all right, you know what? I'm chilling. I'm just watching TV, whatever. And it's funny because as soon as I put my phone down, I go to the bathroom. My dad's like, yo, round 30 is about to start. And I'm just like, dude, I'm not thinking about it. I'm not even trying to think about it. I'm over here looking at my JUCO summer workouts and everything. I was like, okay, whatever. Cool, whatever happens, happens. And then I come back to my phone, not even like 3 minutes later, and all the congratulation texts start rolling through. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what this means. Like, I haven't gotten a call, anything like that. And I'm running to the living room. My dad's sitting there. And he was like, what's going on? I was like, everybody's saying congratulations, but I don't know what happened. And it's funny because that just happened again for the Rule 5 draft. But so I run in, and he's like, as soon as he's holding his phone up, he's like, I haven't gotten anything. Boom, the call comes through, and he's sitting over there, he's crying, proud dad. I'm crying. I'm like, holy crap, like it's a dream come true. At least the first step. And then we tried calling my mom, and she didn't answer. We tried calling her like 4 or 5 times, and she finally got back to us, and she was like, oh my God, wait, what? You just got drafted and everything like that. She was like, I was out of my office, and we were like, the most important day of my young life. You missed the calls, but yeah, that was my draft day experience. I was just like shell shocked.
Yeah, that's insane. Like I can only imagine as an 18-year-old me trying to handle all of that. I would have done the same stuff you were doing. Like, no, I'm gonna get my mind off of it. I'm gonna go do something. Like I probably would have gone like down and play Madden or something. I would have just done something completely different, like you have.
Oh,
that's insane.
My mind was literally racing too much to even like hop on the sticks at all. I was for real. But
I mean, I've been on the other side of that. Obviously, it's not nearly as personal. We're like, you're watching people that you know, and you're like, hey, I'm pulling for this dude. Come like, late day 2, and you're like, is this even going to happen right now? And you just kind of let your expectations drop, and you're like, all right, not what I was expecting, but it's all good. I can't imagine being on like the actual personal side of that. We're like, this is me. Dude, like, oh, that's my friend from high school or whatever. It's like that's me that I'm trying to worry about right now.
Exactly. Because I mean, it's just like, all right, what's next? That's just the biggest question every time. And even rolling into this December, like I had a solid fall league, I guess you could say, experience, but it was just like, all right, we were hot, we were decent the first 2 weeks, middle couple weeks were like and then finished off on a strong note. But it was just the fact of I'm rolling in to December, and I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm not really expecting anything because I didn't just go crazy and really put up crazy numbers during the fall league. So I was just kind of expecting to go back to Port St. Lucie once everything was done and over with. But December 6th rolls around, same thing. I leave my phone inside. I forgot the Rule 5 draft was even going on. Right. Please don't cancel me for it. But I was just like, you know what? Cool. It was an off day of training. I'm like, I'm not gonna worry about it. Whatever. I get back inside. Congratulations texts start rolling around. I'm like, what happened? And then my area scout from the Mets had called me, and he's just like, congratulations, dude. And I literally go, what are you talking about? And he was like, the Rock. He goes, you're a Colorado Rocky now. And I was like, wait, what? But yeah, no. And it was just, in the next thing you know, like next couple of hours, I was still just in shell shock because like how everybody remembers college being like the best time of their life and everything. It was just like all I knew after high school was New York Mets baseball. So, but I promise you, by like day 3, I'm like, dude, I'm ready to rock this black and purple. Like, that's
right. Yeah, definitely an upgrade in colors there. Definitely an upgrade in colors there.
Yeah,
I said it, not you. Fine.
for sure. I will say, black is my favorite color to wear. So it
Okay.
fits.
Perfect.
It fits.
Love that. So, I mean, so with that Rule 5 stuff, like, did they tell you that you're eligible for the minor league portion of it? I'm always curious how that works, because I feel like we're like the only
So-
two that actually cover the minor league Rule 5 in all of Rockies, Twitter, or whatever, socials. And like, I never know, like, all right, who's actually on this? Because I have no idea. Like, I look at all the rules, I have no idea. So, like, how do teams kind of figure that out? And do they let the players know? Any insight you can give us?
I mean, it's crazy because we're kind of left out the loop too. It's like you'll either see your name with the AAA roster next to it, which means like the team reserved you on it. So that way you're not in the player pool to be drafted in Rule 5. But I just remember talking to my agent and I was like, am I Rule 5 eligible now? Like, since I'm whenever I left Arizona and everything. And he was like, I mean, yeah, but I don't. He was like, I haven't really heard much as far as like you potentially going, so I'm not gonna sit here and like basically get your hopes up. And I said, yeah, I mean, I was just wondering how that might play out, and then of course,
Yeah,
it just
pretty
happened.
early on too. The Rockies were like high up
it was
there.
quick.
They were like,
Yeah.
dang, let's get our man Hardy out here.
Yeah, I was like, okay. I was like, dang, all right, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, it just feels it's a blessing to like be in an organization. Feels good to be wanted and everything like that. So it's just like you obviously people have their expectations for you and everything. So I mean, for me, it was just like they said that they were happy with what I've done and just what I could continue to do. So I mean, for me, it's just like I just want to raise the bar. That's it.
Love
And
that.
just
Yeah.
keep doing what got me this far and hey, just keep pushing. See how far we can get. Hopefully
Do it.
finish the race.
Do what's next up there. Absolutely love that mentality too. Because like, yeah, you kind of have, and I don't mean this negative, but like, does it feel kind of like a reset, like a restart, like a fresh start? Like you've been with the Mets for so long, and then like, all right, you had a hell of a year last year. Like your numbers were insane. 3 levels. That round 1 whip, the strikeouts those were nice, and the innings pitch. Like you got some things figured out last year. After all, like we can talk about the other stuff later, but like, does it feel kind of like a reset, like a restart? Like, all right, let's do this all over again. Let's do this as a vet.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. Yeah, how you said that last part as a vet. So it's just like, all right, I've been playing pro ball. Like you're not new to this. Just coming into spring training, like you already know what to expect. It gets a little hectic, but basically all it is just like this is your kickstart to the season. So it's just go ahead, get the train on the tracks correctly, and then just roll from there. But it is definitely a restart. Like you have to learn a whole new organization. Like you have to develop new relationships and everything. But like I said, the hospitality is impeccable, and everybody's just super nice. Like super great people. I'm like, wow, I love it. And I mean that's and I mean I'm not saying like people with the Mets weren't cool, but it was just like, every org is different. So like you don't know what to expect. And then everybody's just like super chill. Like everybody's excited to see everybody. So it was just like, okay, yeah, no, let's go. Like
Yeah.
I'm fitting right in.
That's awesome.
There's something about the West Coast energy, and like, Arizona, Colorado aren't like West Coast, but it's like kind of faux West Coast, and there's just a different feel to everything, different energy. Even if people aren't from the western part of the country, they kind of just take that on anyway. So,
yeah, for sure. I think it's something to do with the valley, man. Like I feel like everybody out here is just. I don't know if the heat like gets to you where it just like, melts away, whatever. It just, but, I mean, I will say it's just like coming out here, the flow of everything is like it's cool. Whereas on the East Coast, like playing for East Coast teams, it's like like let's go. Everything you like you better get there. You better do this. Like and coming over here, it's more so. It's like all right, well you know what you have to do. Like just go out there and do it, and then it's kind of like, all right, there you go. They kind of just like lay it out for you.
We've heard that. Cool. We've heard that a few times from some of our boys. Like it's like they handle their own business, and then they meet with the Rockies people. They create a plan together, and they kind of figure it all out, like kind of at their own pace, what works for them. And it's
exactly.
I know, and it's weird. Like we're talking, and like we got to kind of be careful about what we say. But like I've never felt like some guys have been like holding negative things back about the Rockies. Like Rockies were one of the few teams that were allowing housing, helping out with housing like 2 or 3 years ago when that became a deal. Like that was already something they were doing. They're making sure everybody's good, fit in. And then like you said, all the guys that we've talked to, like we have been very lucky just to have this weird little platform where we've been able to reach out to guys like we did to you. Like, yeah, we're down. We're cool to do that. And like you got Duke and Darnell, like say what's up to Duke for us. Love Dukes. Like he's really how we are here. And like that kind of went there. Like Hunter Stovall, he's a friend with Cumbest, so you probably might know Hunter.
Yeah, I know Stove.
So like we go down the list. So like we can go down the list of all these like great guys, but like they're also ballers, they're also dogs, they also can go handle their business. And like Tyler and I have been kind of talking about that a lot lately. There feels like a different in the culture has been changing a little bit over the last few years, and like we're kind of seeing it firsthand. It's kind of cool, and like hearing you kind of say that, like as a fan, like it's good to hear. Like it's good to hear, like, all right, they're taking care of our people, they're doing this, there's something about the culture that's changing. And like you coming in from the Mets to this, just a whole different organization, you're already seeing that on day 2, day 3. Like that makes me feel pretty good. Like, all right, we're in a good place, like things are going to start switching, we're going to be all right.
For sure. Like, I mean, like I said, everything's just been super positive. And just how everybody's super welcoming and everything. Like obviously at the end of the day, everybody's competing for a big league job. But it's like you don't get any false energy or like any negative energy from anybody, because it's like, I mean, shoot, if I do what I have to do, like I'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna take anything away from you just to get there. Like, dude. Like, I want to see you do good because we're probably going to be on the same affiliate team and nobody wants to lose. So it's just like, dude, let's create a great clubhouse. Let's create some camaraderie and everything like that. And just like go out there, let's win some ball games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we're now starting to see some of that play out at that big league level where a ton of these guys who were drafted in the last, 4, maybe 5 years, and they're tight. It seems like a great community, unlike really anything we've seen from the Rockies. And I can't speak for other organizations as much, but it seems like it is just a group of homies that are out there now on the big league field getting stuff done. So I feel like there's a new wave, and it's really fun to see.
Yeah, nah, man. I mean, I'm excited to see where the Rockies are, especially in like 3 years.
Yes, there's some talent coming up that are just going to add to it. Like you already have the talent up top, like Tovar, Doyle. Like again, we can go down the list. Like there's 3 years, 2-3 years down the road, it's going to be real nice. Love that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited.
Yeah, you should be. Like you're bringing what are you bringing? Like 90? You're saying 95. Your sinker slider.
Nah, not right now.
No. Where are we at? Where are we at right now?
Look, we're still building up now. We're still building up. Remember that veteran word, right? So I came the past 2 years. I came in and I was throwing harder than I needed to be, as early on and everything, and I would say I came in more so in mid-season form, but you still have 6 to 7 more months after spring training, so you got to find a way to survive. But I'm pacing myself a lot better, I would say. So like since I've been here, we've only thrown bullpens and just been 90 to 92. Just because it's like, why blow it out in the bullpen whenever you have to go out there and pitch coming up soon, and we're going to be in games, and then once you get your routine under you and everything like that, that's whenever the 5s and the 6s will start showing.
Come on, first bullpen of the year, you're not sitting 95. Like, come on.
You got to show the new team what we're about, what we're doing.
Good impressions.
You brought me, right? Yeah, first impressions mean everything.
Hey, look. Like I said, my first impression was I'm trying to make sure that they see I'm a mature pitcher. And it's like, all right, Yeah, no, velo is good and everything. If you have it, I mean, by all means, go ahead, throw it. That's on you. But for me, I know like what worked for me the past 2 years was basically just filling up the zone with every pitch and just letting it play off of the heater. And whenever we feel like gassing it up, then we will. But until then, we're gonna be sitting at a good speed though. We're gonna be sitting at a good speed. We're not just gonna be throwing meatballs.
If we're either Aaron or I are watching one of those games, whether you're in Hartford or you hit up Albuquerque, if we see a 5 go on the broadcast, I'm celebrating like on the spot. That's how we know that you're in true form now. No.
He's there now.
All right, he's here. He's here.
Or April's the second week in the season and you're hitting 95. Like, all right, Brennan, you gotta bring it down a little bit. Let's ramp it up. So
I'll let you know if I'm feeling good. I'm like, nah, man. We might have a 7 or 8 in here.
That's all I'm gonna be doing now. We're just watching the ticker. It's gonna be ridiculous.
All right.
You're one of our guys now, so like we're tuning in almost any chance we get. And now we're gonna support you in any way we can. So that 95, 96. Yeah. We're watching, but no pressure. Like, do you have a system? You got all that. And I know some random dudes on the internet aren't going to change your mindset about that. But like I'm pretty stoked about this. Like seeing you doing the research. Like Tyler's that guy. You can probably speak a little bit better than I can on this. Like seeing what you were doing last year, what you were doing. Like you're fun to watch pitch, and I'm really excited about that.
I appreciate that, man. That's like one of the utmost compliments that like a guy could ever hear. And I mean, it's just whenever I'm just out there just trying to throw my game, that's it. And whenever it's like whenever you have the feedback, whenever people are telling you, hey man, like that was electric, or it's how you just said it's fun to watch you pitch, I'm like, oh, okay, well, thank you. I'm just trying to be me.
Yeah.
Well, we got to hear, I and everybody else, we can try to watch video, see what's going on, but we got to hear it from you, like from what I've seen. There's some, I'll see a clip and I'm like, wait, I didn't know he could do that. Like, I just looked your name up on Twitter earlier. I'm like trying to find a couple more videos. I see you throwing like a 4-seamer with like carry up in the zone. And I was like, I thought he was more like just 2-seam slider guy. So we need the insight right now, like what you're really just chopping it up with.
All right. So we're throwing riding fastball, 4-seam, but occasionally I get on the side of it and it takes off. So that's probably some of the clips
I've seen some of those for sure.
Yeah, those are the ones that you saw for sure. But we'll say ride and run on a good day, 4-seam, cutter, slider, and then we worked on the changeup this offseason, and it's been pretty solid. We just got to locate it in the zone a lot more, but it's spinning right. It's spinning right. Okay. So we got one thing now.
Here with a lot of guys when they're like developing a changeup, and they'll say to someone like an agent, a pitching coach, whatever, they're like, "Oh, I added this new changeup," and they're like, "Oh, I threw it 3 times today, and like it was in the batter's box all 3 times." Like, so like you gotta hold that thing for a little bit. So is that coming along, pretty well? Feeling like that's gonna be that reliable, I guess, for you, your 4th pitch, really.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, like the slider has worked a lot over the past couple of years, but I mean, as you know, as we get more into this analytics era, like the guys are coming up to the plate and they're knowing that you're going to throw a slider. And it's funny because it actually happened. I had to make the adjustment in Hartford last year. I was coming in and I'm like, all right, 2 strikes, bet. Oh crap, broken bat single. All right, get the next guy down to 2 strikes. Single off the wall in the short porch. Now that's one thing I am kind of nervous about whenever we go. If I end up going to Hartford, it's like, all right, we can be aware of that right field wall. But no. And then I was like, okay, like we're gonna have to start finishing guys off with fastballs. So we're messing around with the arsenal a little bit, but I feel like adding the changeup will just kind of throw guys off from leaning toward that first base side of the plate.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be able to get just kind of work all the quadrants a little bit easier, and that
Exactly.
opens up, a back foot to I guess you don't really. You probably are going to throw that mostly to left-handers to throw them off, right? Is that sort of the plan with that thing?
I mean, yeah, for the most part, we will be throwing it to lefties, and if we're feeling a little frisky that day, you might see it right on right.
Yeah, get some shoelace action on that thing. Get some sword swings.
For sure, for sure. If it's feeling good, we'll determine by the first one that we throw. And if you're seeing it and you're like, oh, okay, that's gross, you might see right on right.
Just another thing for us to watch for. We're sitting 95 and right on right sliders. All right. Doing that's gonna be fun. So like as you're like developing, is it fun to develop a pitch? Like has it been kind of fun to do this changeup thing or?
I mean, yes, it's fun. All right, it's just like everything else in baseball, where whenever you get out of your comfort zone, like you hit that. At first, you start off and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we got it on lock. And then whenever it becomes a routine thing, then that's whenever you finally start hitting that down slope, having to adjust it and everything like that. But I think we're starting to get back on the incline a little bit more. It was pretty solid in the bullpen. I will admit I did spike one. So we're we're still making sure we're getting out front, staying through the same tunnel as the fastball. But hey, we'll be all right though.
Yeah,
We'll be all
awesome. That's fun. It's fun to hear like that kind of stuff. Just like, all right, you're what 6-7 years in, and like you're a new organization, you're doing all this stuff, and you're still learning something new, still learning to make yourself a little bit better. And it's always fun to see what everybody's doing. Like we just talked to, it was EJ Andrews. He was in the lab all summer working up with his hitting coach from Fresno, and he's like, yeah, I just had to make this quick adjustment, just do a little bit of this, and like we saw some things last year, and now I'm just going to do that a little bit better, a little bit more this year, and just it's just insane, like what can be done and what will be done, and like how the whole process works for all of it.
I mean, the most simple way I could put it is literally like you have to always be a student of the game, like, and I feel like, I mean, and I also preach that to the kids that I train during the off season. I'm like, dude, you play it for fun right now, but everybody's like, oh, dang, I want to go to the big leagues. I was like, you don't know how much mental time we put into this, because it's like once you figure that stuff out, it's like, okay, cool, you acquired a new skill, but now it's how are we going to use it? And it's just constantly that revolving door of development that you have to be willing to go through, and that you have to actually want to go through, or else like you'll end up plateauing. So like I said, just constantly being a student of the game, and you have to have a slight obsession with it. Like people are always asking me, they're like, dude, like, do you love it? I'm like, I wouldn't still be doing it if I didn't love it. like, dude, come on now. But yeah, no, I mean, I love it. It's like rolling into the field every day. There's nothing like that feeling. Just going in, being able to work on your craft every day, and then just constantly making yourself just a tad bit better.
Yeah.
What
love that.
What went into last year? We kind of talked about that upward trajectory. What were some of those things that you felt like you had developed and then were able to implement them last year? Because I mean, you had some success in 2022. You figured some things out, and then last year was another step up, playing against better talent. So how did you make that happen?
It's all mental, like how I was talking about earlier, where it's like once you get to a certain level, everybody has a talent. Everybody can throw an outlier pitch, have an outlier arsenal. But the biggest thing was, first and foremost, I got a lot closer with God last year during my rehab stint to start off the year, because my biggest thing was I had a chance to break with AA, and obviously you're like, dude, that's the next level. I'm trying to go to spring training. I'm trying to throw as hard as I can. I'm trying to throw in every reason. Exactly. So it was just like I was pushing myself too hard, and then ended up having another setback with my shoulder, and just taking the time to really be where my feet are and just being grateful every day for just being able to wake up and work on the craft that God bless you with. I mean, dude, it just made things a lot easier on the mental side of things. To where once it came time to play baseball and be in game, it was just going out there having fun, and like that's what we all start the game as. Like you're
Mhm.
not you're not worried about how much you're getting paid whenever you're 5 years old. You're like, nah, dude, I just want to be on the field. So it was just constantly reminding myself what do I appreciate about today, and just going out there, just throwing, man, just
Mm.
throwing at that point. And then days after, you work on mechanics and everything like that. And that's whenever you hone in on
The
that.
serious
Yeah,
stuff.
no, I'm not. Oh no, I'm not just out here just like, oh yeah, we're playing baseball. No,
Loosey goosey.
yeah, no. Anybody will tell you from. I mean, like, I don't know how many guys have been paying attention over here yet, but like, dude, I'm one of those guys who is like, I need to make sure every rep is done correctly, because
Mhm.
it's like, shoot, it worked for Kobe. I'm not saying I'm Kobe by any means of baseball, by any means, but it's just like, if he could shoot for it and see how far and how legendary he got, why not try it?
Mhm. Like you have to have a little bit of crazy about you, like you
Oh,
like
you
in
have
the
to.
best way. Like Kobe, he was different. Like I've been watching some of his motivational stuff on YouTube, and I was like, dude was just built different. But like there has to be some of that just crazy in you. Like, all right, I got to
Yeah,
do this many reps. I got to put this much work in. I got to do this
yeah,
to be able to get to that. And like you have to
yeah,
have some kind of routine and knowing where you're at and where you want to go and being, like you said, grounded and in that moment, in that place. Like you got to start somewhere, and it
yeah.
usually in that you have to get there. And how are you going to get there? You have to be here to be able to get there.
Exactly. And I mean, like, we talked about it in our mental skills meeting yesterday, where it was just like, all right, what's your plan for week one in spring training? And then he had asked us, like, all right, so what's your plan today? And this was right before our bullpen, and I was like, execute each pitch. And that's another thing that carries me throughout outings, whether it's good or bad. And I can look back on my bad outings, and I'm like, what was I doing? I was over here worried about a sequence and all this other stuff, and I haven't even thrown pitch one to him yet.
Mhm.
So, so it was just like, dude, you can't get to pitch two of your sequence if you don't execute pitch one. So it's just like being present, being where your feet are. But also at the same time, how you did mention, Aaron, dude, you have to be a little crazy. Like you have to be a little bit delusional to, and I mean, for everybody, literally everybody
Yeah.
who's trying to make it to the big leagues and let alone stay there. It's just like you have to bet on yourself and just constantly wake up every day. And I mean, it's like obviously you're gonna have doubts. Like everybody's human. Like nobody's just gonna be over here like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna do this, and this. And it's like, no, you just have to constantly reassess yourself and be like, dude, I mean, I'm here for a reason. And honestly, all I can do is just maximize my potential at this and give
Mhm.
it my best go.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Like my wife is a little bit crazy, like in the professional way. Like she's she's constantly working on her craft, and she beats herself up a little bit too much. I think sometimes like she'll just
Mhm.
go do great work and then like come back and kind of figure out what didn't go so well, and then now she's watching videos and trying to figure this out to the next thing. And like,
Yeah,
and I absolutely love that about her. Like that's one thing, like it makes me a little bit better in my daylight time job, a little bit more with this. Like Tyler knows I'm a little bit crazy about this too. Like it's
yeah,
like you have to, if you want something to be the best that it possibly can be, you have to put in that work, whether it's
you
a
do.
little bit or a lot, and you got to have, it's got to be consistent. I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of young people forget, don't think about. Like you have to be consistent with
Consistency.
whatever you're doing. It's
For
such a
real.
big
Oh,
deal.
and that's the toughest battle. Honestly, it's the
Hmm.
toughest battle where it's like you do roll out there and you pitch your butt off, and it's like, oh, okay. It's like you're basically feeling like you're on top of the world. But I mean, one of my greatest mentors, Rich Donnelly, like he was my Kingsport manager, and I mean, he still texts me to this day, and like he keeps up with all of my outings and everything like that. So he'll text me right afterwards and he'll be like, "All right, enjoy it for the next couple hours." And then no, he's like, "Yes, like that's how it is." And I mean,
Yeah.
whenever I listened to it the first time, I was like, yeah, no, like you're right, because your clock just restarts the moment you walk off of that mound. It's like, all right, boom, I'm in recovery mode. How do I need to recover today? Like, and then the next day, like, you're not pitching most likely unless the game gets out of hand. But the thing is that it's like that's your recovery day, and you have to execute that. So then that way you can feel good to go back out there 2 more days. I mean, dude, it's literally my life is a revolving door on a 3-day pace. So
Yeah.
that's just like it's so funny because like I have to tell people around me where they're like, "Hey, what you doing this day?" And I'm like, I'm not throwing off the mound. I think that's the day before I throw off the mound. So like I'm chilling.
Yeah.
And that's even people back home. Like even my friends back home, like they know, like, dude, my life revolves around my mound days, and I'm not about to interfere with that. Like I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, like Dugan spoke to a little bit to that. Jared Candy spoke a little bit of that. Like he started finding success when he found that routine, and it's just like there is that sense of like normalcy, sense of like, all right, I'm waking up, I'm doing this, this, and this, and then that's just going to help you get to that next spot. It's such a big thing, and I'm sure it took you a little while to kind of figure that out, right? Like, is that going back to that young professional life, like, right?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. All right. I will say this Brendan Hardy does not reflect any Brendan Hardy before. Shoot, even probably last year. Like,
Right, but like that's it
I'm
though.
telling you. Yeah, it took me a solid 5 years, because the biggest thing was 2021. It was throwing strikes, and I mean, going back and doing the research, I bet you can see the 11 or 12 ERA, and you're like, how in the world? But after that, I went to this training facility called Intent Performance, and those are like those off day podcasts that you might see on my page. Those are the guys I trained with, and we were just in a small town in Mississippi, and we had like this makeshift facility where it was this old car garage, and we put turf in it, everything like that. Like, dude, grinding, and just basically worked on mechanics, ironed them out, and everything like that. So that's whenever the velo actually jumped in 2022. But with that, I still had a young mind, and I didn't know anything about recovery, taking care of your body, all this other stuff. It was literally just go. I'm like, okay, I feel like I have a new arm. I'm throwing harder than ever, so I'm gonna just keep throwing hard. But then and then ended up rehabbing at the end of the year, and starting off the year with having to rehab again last year. It really made me hone in on my routine, on my recovery, knowing what I had to do in order to feel good the next time I touched the ball. So like that's how I would say it took me 5 seasons.
So what you're saying is that like the surface is still getting scratched up. Like there's levels to this that we have not seen yet.
Oh yeah. No, there's a lot of levels to it. And I mean, like, a lot of people, I mean, respectfully so, like, a lot of people they don't really know how the first 4 years of my career went. They just see like the 22 numbers and on, and it's like, oh man, like you've been shoving that. I'm like, y'all didn't see the first 4.
So can we talk about this a little bit? But yeah, and but like again, that's good. Like as a fan, it's good to hear we're getting that. Like there's something to be excited about with that. Like, all right, it's just not another like mid 20, late 20-year-old coming in trying to find a way. He has a routine, he has a system, he has something that's working for him, and it's just exciting to like again seeing all these guys come up with this. And like we've been lucky enough to kind of get to know some of these guys, and they've all spoken about like everything you've talked about, like all right, so this is part of this, and you're coming in, joining that, being part of that, as opposed to with your own mindset, like a big head or big ego or whatever that might come in. Like, no, we're past that. We're humble enough. We're gonna handle business, and we're gonna go get some dubs, and we're gonna go do our thing. And like that's good, right? And that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it needs to be. And like you never know. You know, like I'm sure you've seen some guys. You like I see it in some of my high schoolers. Like their heads are a little bit bigger than they need to be, and like some humbleness needs to be brought down. And like it's just something that needs to happen. And now or later, whenever, it's a good time.
For sure, I would say, I mean, like 2022. I won't say like I'm not a very vocal guy as far as like ego or anything comes into play, but I will say I was puffing my chest out a little bit in 22 whenever I came back, and I was throwing harder than ever, and I was like, oh. but like obviously, I mean, I'm still the person I am right now. I'm cool and everything, but it was just like whenever you start getting a little too big for your britches, as my people from the South would say. It's like God always has a way of humbling you and slowing you down. So like as far as just coming in and trying to be cocky or whatever, like dude, all that stuff's played out. Like because you could come in here, be the biggest prospect, have however amount of money for a signing bonus, and still get punched out by the last guy on the totem pole, or still getting taken yard by the last guy on the totem pole. So it's just like, dude, like if you don't humble yourself, everything else around you will. So just be cool, like be cool. And plus, cool. Also at the same time, I'm not a Hall of Famer, so there's no like, what have I done in the grand scheme of things to baseball to where you can walk around like somebody basically owes you anything? Like, nah,
and I think that comes with the territory, the experience, and all that. Like baseball is the most humbling sport ever. Like it will do that real quick. So yeah, that's awesome. I mean, we said 45 minutes. We're pushing an hour, and I'm sure you seem like you're okay with it. But we'll go ahead and end this, and we'll make sure we catch up in the season. So we always like to end our pods a little bit with 2 or 3 fun questions. So I'll have 1 or 2 ready, and Tyler will ask one, and then we'll end with my favorite. But so you mentioned it. It was on the rundown. What is the off day pod, and how can we go listen to it?
So right now we're basically recording our episodes on a separate app, but we did get some good feedback from going live on Instagram with it. But like it was, I told you that group that was the Intent Performance Group. It's David Parkinson, AAA with the Phillies, Reggie Grace, AA with the Twins right now, and myself. And basically, we're just sitting there because we've always had so many questions about what is like your everyday routine, like what's it like. Everybody wants to know how it is being a professional baseball player, so why not just go ahead and make that accessible? But we have a couple more ideas to where we can be more accessible to everybody, and that's why I like doing the Instagram lives, because people can literally tune in right away and then ask their questions, and then we can answer it. So we might have a Q&A coming up soon. Just stay tuned.
Where can the people find that? Go plug.
So actually, like we're recording them on the separate app, and we're clipping it, posting it to the Off Day Podcast Instagram page, and then we'll expand out from there. I was talking about us getting a TikTok, but we'll see. Because stuff blows up on TikTok super easily.
Yeah,
something will get caught up in like the stream. It's like in a river. All of a sudden, that thing is in the ocean now with all these fish around it.
Thank you.
So,
dude, it's the algorithm.
It's the algorithm. We still haven't figured that one out.
Everybody's trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it's a grind. It's a fun grind though. Like, and I'm sure it's fun for you talking to your boys and like having that little piece that you might have missed when you're coming through and doing that. So that's cool. I love that.
For sure.
Who was your favorite athlete or favorite person to kind of follow when you were a young boy down at Gulfport?
It's funny because growing up as a shortstop, I was always watching Troy Tulowitzki. How ironic.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
A+ answer.
yeah, no, I mean, and that's not even trying to earn any cookie points over here. I promise you, it was Troy Tulowitzki. Like I remember, even to the smallest things, like going two in the pinky with the glove with the index finger out. Like I remember my dad tried to make me go straight up in the glove. I was like, Troy doesn't do it. But yeah, and plus just being a bigger shortstop and everything like that, like seeing how gracefully he moved. Like I tried to emulate my game after him. And as far as on the pitching side, I don't think I really like looked up to anybody until like being a PO was kind of becoming evident for me. But I wanted to have like the Grom stuff with Stroman energy.
Oh yeah.
So,
That would have
yeah.
been a fun combo.
Yeah. Yeah. If you could just create a player,
Right.
that's who I would definitely have like the Grom's build though. I would need that.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys got to be pretty close, right?
I'm a little bit heavier, I would say.
Okay.
After seeing him in person,
He's
he's
crazy
lean, man. He's
small
lean,
that
man.
He is like that, yeah.
But we used to call him like the scap god. like, because dude, whenever I'm telling you, whenever he has like a cutoff on, back is shredded, and it's like that's how you throw 100.
Okay.
Yep. That's how you do that. Okay.
When you're weighing like 160 soaking wet, or he's probably like 170, but he doesn't look it.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he's pushing like 180, 190 now. But yeah, no, at the time, just like seeing him, just in person, you're just sitting there in awe.
Yeah.
Because it's just that electric. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
So my fun question here at the end, and you kind of prefaced it, you set it up for me at least, like coolest interaction that you had with either Jacob deGrom other than the scapula or Marcus Stroman. One of those two dudes, really cool interaction that you got to have with either one, even if it wasn't,
Okay.
Yeah, hit us with it.
All right, I got you. Funny story. And I mean, it's not much of an interaction at all. It was just kind of like a holy crap moment for both of us. So 2021 down in West Palm, and that's whenever he made his first rehab start against the Palm Beach Cardinals. And you know how that was, because they were like
the legendary
that legendary game, right? So we're sitting there in the bullpen and we're watching them, whatever. And that was the first day, like in his life, he ever hit 103, right? And just like, yes. And it's funny because the only batter to get on base was Mason Wynn. And yeah, so we're sitting there, and he was originally supposed to go 4, but he only went 3, and then finished up his pitch count in the bullpen. And after he's done in the bullpen, whatever, he's like walking by, everybody's just giving him dabs, and I kind of like stepped in front of him a little bit to give him dabs, and I go 103, and he goes, what? I know, right? And then dabs me up and walked off. I was like, okay, so you're surprised too. Okay, I was there. Because it's like,
oh my God.
it's funny because like just seeing the differences in people over there, where it's like if Syndergaard would have hit 103, he would have been like, okay. And then
I gotta hit the weights a little more. 104.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just like he would have probably just been like, he was more of a quiet guy, but like deGrom being like, I know, right? It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was that, and I was like, okay, like it was crazy. It was electric to watch.
Yeah, especially when it takes over, a minor league game takes over like the world, like that. Those 24 hours are insane, and and being firsthand, like right there, first seat,
yes, and
That's
then like
awesome.
even watching him warm up in the bullpen, and he's throwing the easiest like 96 to 98.
Just different.
Yeah, and it's just like this. You're like, nah, bro. You're like, nah. He's got it. Like
Yeah.
God just said, here you go.
Yeah. We grace you. Here you go.
Exactly.
Do your thing.
That was it.
All right. Final question. My favorite question. You get to be
All right.
completely selfish when you answer this. What
Okay.
is your favorite all-time baseball moment for yourself? Like where you just went out and balled, dominated. Did you best performance?
Dang. You see, I've been practicing like erasing half of these. God. I honestly don't know. Like over the past couple of years, we've had some good ones. Oh no. All right. Childhood moment. 9U. That's whenever it kicked in. So 9U regionals, and we're facing this team. And we're facing this team from Louisiana that apparently hadn't lost a game in 2 years, right?
In Louisiana.
Yeah, in Louisiana. they come over to Mississippi. So
Yeah,
they were
it's
on
a
our home
different.
turf.
You're right.
Yeah, yeah. And we were right up the street too. So I'm like, all right, nah, like this is my complex. Like I'm gonna go out here. I went CG. I want to say it was like 6 innings, had 10 or 11 strikeouts, something like that. And then yeah, and I think they only had like 1 or 2 hits. And it got publicized in the newspaper.
Nice.
And like I got interviewed and everything, and I was just like, it was just really good to play good baseball with my team.
like,
and like my parents still have that whole article just clipped and cut out and everything.
That's awesome.
So yeah, no, I will say that was the first time that I knew like I actually loved pitching. So yeah, no, that was a great memory.
I mean, that kind of performance is going to do that. That will do it for you. All right. Yeah, we were talking about being humble a little bit, but like that's going to build your ego up a little bit. Feel a little, like, all right, I'm 9 years old, feeling a little bit, yeah. But
you're walking around every tournament just like, dude, you can't hit me.
Have you heard of me? No,
exactly. Yeah, like one of those. But yeah, no. Ever since then, we just been mellow. You know, not trying to be too high, not too low.
Yeah, man, love that.
That's where the memory cuts off. The memory.
Yeah,
yeah, facts. Like as far as like the last 2 years, like I learn about my numbers whenever people tell me, because I'm just like, dog, my job is to go out there and get 3 outs. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I love that. And I'm glad you're part of the Rockies. I'm glad we're able to do this. Yeah. This was a good time. Like hopefully we get to do this again. Hopefully we get to pump you up a little bit again. Like one thing that we try to do is if you spend some time with us, we're going to just put all of your stuff out there. You go 1 inning, 3 punchies. Like we got you, and we're gonna support you and do our thing. And
I appreciate
it. Ball, man. Like I'm excited. Like the armbar is gonna be fun. Like can you imagine, Tyler? We got Hardy, we got McKillican, we got Darnell, got Goldsy out there. Like
dude,
it's some young.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, man. And I mean, I just hope like I can just bring the same energy that we had over with the old guys. I'll try not to reference them too much, but with the old guys, and just have like that successful bullpen that we had over there. Just go ahead, bring that same mentality here to where everybody's just rolling out, just straight dogs, just putting up zeros.
Let's do it. Let's do it there. Let's end it. Let's go do it. 2024 it's gonna be fun. Again, Brendan, thank you for hanging out with us, and go do your thing, big dog.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate y'all welcoming me into the Banter squad.
There we go.
Yeah. There soon to be family, and later this season, family. Yes. The pod.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. All right, appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for watching and listening. Please check out our link tree for more content.